The spectacular Cane Corso Italiano. Deeply affectionate and loyal, this European Mastiff has conquered the hearts of dog lovers all over the world. But is this imposing dog breed right for you? All right, folks, in this section, we're going to cover breed history with Mr. Bronx, the 175-pound Cane Corso. Now, the Cane Corso is very closely related to the Neapolitan Mastiff, but today the similarities between both of these breeds is somewhat obscured by the Neapolitan Mastiff's excessively wrinkly skin. Molosser-type dogs that look very much like the Cane Corso and the Neapolitan Mastiff have been immortalized in potteries and paintings and literature of classical antiquity. We're talking all the way back from the 8th century BC to 6th century AD, and it's in these pieces of art that we see large, bulky, Mastiff-type breeds with cropped ears, docked tails, and folds of loose skin around the neck area. Cropping and docking had nothing to do with looks. It had to do with how they would perform on the battlefield. Without a doubt, their enormous size and weight made these dogs formidable opponents. These legendary Mastiffs of antiquity were known as the Roman Molosser, the Molossus, or Molossian hounds. They served mainly as home and farm guardians. Now, the Roman war dogs were credited for many victories in battle, and their instinct to protect their handlers with their lives is still very much present today in today's Cane Corso, which brings us to the next section, where we discuss the incredible guarding ability of this ancient war dog breed. The Cane Corso is a dog that needs no training to protect its family or territory. They are naturally suspicious of strangers and highly territorial. The dog is known to fearlessly and with little to no thought or hesitation challenge any person or animal trespassing on their property. If their deep and booming warning bark fails to scare off the trespasser, they have the strength, the courage, and the bite force to handle business with whomever or whatever trespasses. Not to mention, their very high pain tolerance allows them to push through any violent encounter where other dogs might quickly back away. Defending their property is deeply ingrained in the Cane Corso's DNA. Let me say that again. Defending their property and their family is deeply ingrained in the Corso's DNA. Ask yourself if you would be comfortable with a dog that can easily, severely injure, if not kill a trespasser. The problem is, who is the trespasser? Is it your drunk uncle coming in late at night, unannounced? Is it the new mailman that he hasn't met before? They are very difficult to stop or slow down if they are determined to do something. Whether it is to chase a cat, bust through your car window, dig a hole under your fence, or eat the mailman, you as an owner are going to need an incredible amount of both physical control and mental control over the dog, aka training, okay? So as to minimize the threat that this dog naturally poses on a daily basis. They can be amazing dogs, but you gotta know what you're doing. In this section, we're gonna cover the exercise and grooming requirements of the Cane Corso. So when exercised enough, the Cane Corso is pretty calm in the home. They're not prone to unnecessary barking. They love spending time with their owners. We're talking, they can be couch potatoes, but at the same time, they love being outside, patrolling the property. If you're gonna get a Cane Corso, please invest in securing your backyard accordingly. Despite their bulk, they can jump walls, jump fences, dig under fences, and if their considerable exercise needs are not met, they can take out all that energy on your couch, your rugs, your carpets, you name it, your walls even. Now, crate training is absolutely essential for this type of dog breed and all dog breeds in my opinion, but we need to counterbalance the crate training with daily structured walks, running around off leash, and other types of activities that are going to be mandatory for this dog to get their energy out. Now, they love chew toys, jolly balls, Kongs, flirt poles. All of these are going to help you get that energy out. But if you get cheap, inexpensive, easily destroyed toys, right, that are maybe made for like a little 10-pound poodle, this dog's going to destroy that, ingest it, eat it. You're going to have a big problem. So whatever toys you buy, make sure they are absolutely bomb-proof, or in this case, Cane Corso-proof. Now, moving on to the coat. Coat texture, we're talking about a naturally shiny, short, smooth double coat. The coat colors can come in several varieties. Blue, black, blue with a brindling, black with brindling, or Formentino. Average life expectancy for the Cane Corso is 10 to 12 years, and the health of these dogs, listen, like all large breeds, the Italian Mastiff can develop joint issues, elbow and hip dysplasia, bloat, heart conditions, and various forms of cancer. Now here's some fun facts for you. Cane Corso is an Italian breed name that means running dog. This refers back to the day when the Corso was used as a coursing mastiff to hunt boar and other large game. Now, many people get their panties in a twist when it comes to pronouncing the name. Is it Cane Corso, like candy cane, or is it Cane Corso? Furthermore, what if there are 2 or more Cane Corsos? Is the pair of dogs called Cane Corsos, or is it Cane Corsi? Who cares? Whatever you call it, potato, tomato, I don't really give a f. One more interesting thing to be aware of when it comes to getting a Cane Corso is that the breed standard asks of you that you crop the ears, dock the tail, and it's also highly recommended that you remove the dew claws. What's the dew claw? It's basically the thumb they no longer use. Now, the reason you would want to go ahead and cut off the dew claw on pretty much any dog, but especially these heavier type of mastiffs, is that it's not used for anything, but it could very easily get caught on something, especially if they're climbing on things or climbing in and out of your car, and removing it at a very young age is nowhere near as traumatic as, God forbid, it's a 2-year-old dog and 140 plus pounds of weight is put down on a thumb, and that thumb, their dew claw gets, ripped off or sprained or whatever. You don't want to deal with that, so go ahead and take that off. When it comes to the height of these dogs, the height at the withers when they're standing up is between 25 and 28 inches for males and 23 to 26 inches for females. When it comes to the weight of these dogs, we're talking about a very controversial issue, but generally speaking, the standard for most males is between 90 to 120 pounds, with the females being slightly lighter than that. Now, there are exceptions to the rule, obviously, and lately we're seeing males weighing up to 150 to 180 pounds or more. Specifically, there is a dog named Bronx who went through our program, and he's a 175 plus pound male. And like I said, still growing a little bit. There's a girl from that same breeder, a female. Her name is Brooklyn. She's been featured on our channel. And at 11 months old, she's already 130 plus pounds. And we're expecting her to top out around 150, maybe 160 pounds. Now that leads us to Mr. Blue here. Blue was in our program at around 4.5 to 5 months old, and at the time he looked like a very healthy dog that was on track to be, I guesstimated, maybe 130, 140 pounds, meaning, a little bit bigger than the average. And the owner told me that the grandfather was 175 pounds. Now, guess what weight he is currently? At 9 months old, almost 9 months old, he's already 120 pounds. So he's on track to be 150, 160, 170 pounds, easy peasy. He's just a beefcake of a dog, and I'm very interested to see where he ends up. But this is where the breed's going, especially in America. We're always breeding for size, and we tend to breed out of standard. Now, I'm not here to tell you what's right or wrong, whether you need to get a 120-pound male dog or you want to go with the breeder that's breeding dogs that are getting into the 150, 160, 170-pound territory, what we were calling basically XL Cane Corsos. All right, folks, if you like what you see so far in this video, make sure to like, share, subscribe. Furthermore, check out our online dog training courses located at DIYcanine.com. Regardless of what breed you get, but especially if you get a guardian breed such as a Cane Corso, you want to make sure you raise that puppy right from the beginning. Otherwise, you're going to have a monster on your hands. So check out our Puppy Essentials course that will take you and your puppy from zero to hero. And we have every other course imaginable that can make sure that you raise not only the most amazing puppy, but the best dog you've ever had in your life. You'll have the best dog in the neighborhood, guaranteed. All right, we'll see you in the rest of the video. The Cane Corso needs to be extremely well socialized and trained at an early age. If not, you have a very serious liability on your hands. They are naturally protective of their family, and the breed can be very affectionate with children, but with the owner's children, to be precise. And that is a very specific distinction, because what happens if your children's playmates come over and the Cane Corso hasn't met them before and views them as a threat, meaning the kids could be chasing each other in the background or roughhousing, and that can be kind of disturbing for the Cane Corso or any other dog, and accidents can happen. Problem is, because the dogs are so big and so strong, the accidents can be serious, if not fatal. Under-socialized Cane Corsos, now that's the thing we need to talk about, because an under-socialized Cane Corso can be extremely out of pocket and frankly just unsafe to be around. And we get calls all the time, almost daily, about Cane Corsos who are out of pocket, under-socialized, not well controlled or trained. And by the time we're getting that phone call, The dogs are already well past the prime time to receive training. We like to get Corsos, or any dog really, into the program before 12 months. We can train dogs after 12 months, but behaviors are already pretty well set, the behavioral patterns. If we wait too long to train them and the bad behaviors start to present themselves, I want you to think about this. Even a 10-month-old Cane Corso could be 80, 90, 100 pounds. And at that point, the dog could be so impressive, so powerful, and have issues so bad already that most trainers wouldn't even have a clue how to deal with them. There can be so much of a force to be reckoned with that the trainer has to ask themselves, is it even worth it to train the dog, number one? Number two, do they even have an idea how to train that type of dog with those types of issues? Now, having said all of that, a well-socialized Italian Mastiff can be an absolute pleasure to train. They can excel in the fields of personal protection, obedience, service dog world, and just about any sport or task that you can imagine. Again, if and only if the dog is properly raised, well socialized, good genetics, and on all of this at an early age. So if you're thinking about getting a Cane Corso, just do your research. Like it's one of my breed of choices. I love them. It's between them and working line German Shepherds, they're my two favorite breeds. They're amazing. You just got to know what you're doing, right? So think about that when it comes to getting your Corso. Really ask yourself, if you're capable of handling a dog like this. Now it's time to give the Cane Corso a dog score. Starting with the category of practicality. Due to their size and the fact that they're typically not friendly outside of their family, taking care of them, transporting them, bringing them to the vet or out in public is not as easy as, let's say, a Chihuahua. They're also starting to appear on banned lists for rental properties and HOAs, so be thinking of that, where you're going to be living for the next 10 to 12 years before you decide to get one. For temperament, we give the score of 5. They're not great with outsiders, they're dominant and strong-willed dogs. They are not for the faint of heart. Workability category, we give a score of 8. They can pretty much do any task you ask of them, but they can tire out faster than smaller dogs, and their size also prohibits them from competing in certain things like agility. For the family score, we give a 7. Great with the inner circle and very sweet and protective of children in the household, this dog is great with their family. But physically, they can be more than most folks or small children can handle. When it comes to protection, with a high threshold for pain and a low threshold for strangers, combined with very serious intimidation factors, this dog receives a solid 10. On the exercise category, we give a score of 6. These dogs do need to get out and move, but they can enjoy falling asleep on the couch after having exercised them or taken them for a long walk. Grooming. With little to no grooming requirements, which would normally earn them a 10, but their drool factor alone drops their score to a 7, as that drool can appear here, there, and everywhere. Health, we give a score of 8. They're very robust and overall healthy dogs, and with a proper diet, they can live up to 12 years or longer, which is impressive for a dog of their size. For the trainability category, we give them a 9. As mentioned earlier, you can train these dogs to perform just about any task. They have a huge toy and food drive with a high level of intelligence and focus. These dogs can be trained to a very high level. And moving on to the last category, X Factor. One of the most intimidating looking breeds on the planet, this would have normally brought a score of 10. But due to the popularity of this dog and rampant breeding to keep up with high demand, this dog is becoming more and more commonplace, and we are seeing a lot of undesirable physical and mental traits occurring in the genes of this overproduced breed. Therefore, it gets a 7 in the X Factor, which gives the Cane Corso a total score of 74. All right, this wraps up our discussion of the Italian Cane Corso, the Italian Mastiff, and hopefully after you found out more about the breed, you can discover for yourself if this dog breed is right for you. I do not recommend this dog lightly for 99.9% of people. Now, having said that, it's a free country. If you want to go out and get one, go ahead and do that, but understand what you have here, which is an absolute battle tank that was bred for war. So do they belong in your residential neighborhood with your family and your friends and your kids and your other dogs? I don't know. It's a perfect fit for me and my family. It might be the perfect fit for you and your family, but regardless, no matter what breed of dog you get, but especially if you get a Cane Corso, make sure you get the proper training so that this dog can grow up to be a wonderful dog for you and your family. If not, this dog will absolutely destroy anything and everything in its path and will end up getting put down, and we don't want to hear about that, so don't let that happen. So make sure you get training and make sure you get the right breeder and you pick the right dog for you and your family. We'll see you in the next episode.